Good afternoon and welcome to the Assembly Committee on Commerce and Labor. Madam Secretary, please take roll.
Assemblywoman Backus. Assemblyman Carter.
Present.
Assemblywoman Duran.
Here.
Assemblywoman Hardy.
Here.
Assemblywoman Howdicky.
Here.
Assemblywoman Kasama.
Here.
Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Here.
Assemblyman O'Neill.
Here.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Here.
Assemblyman Yeager. Assemblyman Urick.
Here.
Chair Marzola.
I am here. Please mark Mr. Speaker present once he arrives. I thought that was him. Thank you, everybody, for being here in Carson City. Anyone in Las Vegas and anyone watching over the internet. Before we get started, I just want to go over a few housekeeping rules. Please silence all your electronic devices, especially your cell phones and your laptops. We expect courtesy and respect in our interactions during our meeting, even if we may not agree with the other person's position. This afternoon, we will hear Assembly Bill 127 and Assembly Bill 153, as well as conduct a work session on the bills that we have previously heard. Are you ready? Okay. I will now open the hearing on Assembly Bill 127. This measure revises provisions governing Medicare supplemental policies. Majority Leader Howdicky, you may begin whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair Marzola and members of the Assembly Committee on Commerce and Labor. I'm Assemblywoman Sandra Howdicky, and I proudly represent Assembly District 41. I'm here before you today to present Assembly Bill 127, which is a cleanup bill for Assembly Bill 250 that I carry from the 2021 session and came before the Commerce and Labor Committee. With me on Zoom, I have Heidi Sterner, representing the National Association of Benefits and Insurance Professionals. Assembly Bill 250 of the 2021 session established the birthday rule in Nevada for persons who are currently enrolled in a Medigap plan. The Medicare program is the federal health insurance program under which qualified individuals receive health care. Medicare does not cover all medical services. Medicare supplemental plans, also known as Medigap policies, is a distinct type of insurance policy which is sold by private companies to fill the gaps in original Medicare plan coverages. So what is so great about the birthday rule? It creates a pseudo second open enrollment period for our most vulnerable populations, our seniors on Medicare, to be able to move into a different Medigap policy that might be a better and less expensive fit for them now that they are 1 year older. The birthday rule open enrollment period begins on the first day of the birthday month of an enrollee and continues for 60 days. What AB 127 before you is doing is clearing up language so that the insurance companies in Nevada all treat the birthday rule enrollment period the same way. The easiest way to explain it, Madam Chair, is some health insurance companies are paying insurance brokers a commission for their work with the senior to enroll them in a better plan during this birthday enrollment period, and some insurance companies are not. And it's simply just a difference in the way they interpret the law. This discourages insurance brokers from reaching out to our seniors to help them navigate the different options that they have, because the reality is no one wants to work for free, nor should they have to. This bill is intended to create uniformity so that every insurance company treats the birthday rule the same way. I do want to let the committee know that I am working on an amendment to help clarify the language with industry stakeholders, but we just haven't finalized that language. Industry stakeholders believe that there is a better way to word NRS that gets to the same outcome. With me, Chair, I do have Heidi Sterner, and with your permission, I would like to go to her for some remarks as well.
You can start when you're ready.
Thank you. Chair Marzola and committee members, thank you very much for hearing AB 127 today. And thank you to Assemblywoman Howdicky for introducing this bill. I am Heidi Sterner with the Nevada chapter of the National Association of Benefits and Insurance Professionals. Our organization represents the thousands of licensed health insurance producers in the state of Nevada, as well as our clients which include individual members on and off the exchange, small and large business owners and their employees, and Medicare beneficiaries. Nevada health insurance producers serve as the Medicare beneficiaries' advocate, a trusted advisor, and a source of information by providing objective and affordable choices to meet their needs. Prior to 2021, Medicare beneficiaries enrolled in a Medicare supplement or Medigap plan in Nevada did not have an annual open enrollment period like other forms of health insurance offer. For many seniors, this meant that they were stuck in their plan unless they were healthy enough to be able to apply and be approved by medical underwriting to change to a different Medigap plan. Those with medical conditions who were not able to change plans due to their health status prior to 2021, and they endured premium increase after premium increase with no alternate options available to them in this market space. They could not change plans. With the passage of AB 250 in 2021, seniors now have an annual open enrollment period to make plan changes that better fit their current needs, and many of Nevada's seniors have taken advantage of this to change to a same or lesser plan and have been able to reduce their monthly and annual premiums. This is because during their Medicare birthday enrollment period, insurers are not allowed to inquire about or rate based on their health status. They get the preferred rate for their same or lesser plan, and this is significantly impactful to seniors living on a fixed income. Unfortunately, the Medicare supplement insurers are not consistent in their interpretation or implementation of the law. There are as many interpretations of the law as there are Medicare supplement insurers selling these plans in Nevada today. The Medicare birthday rule enrollments are replacement renewal policies to a same or lesser plan. Some insurers have interpreted the legislation as a guarantee issue policy, and we feel that AB 127 will provide the necessary clarity so that the law is interpreted consistently across the board as a renewal replacement policy. Currently, there is adverse selection happening due to the variety of interpretations of the law. A few insurers that interpreted the law and regulations as they were intended as in 2021 as a renewal replacement policy, they have received a disproportionate share of enrollments, and we are already seeing increases in the premiums due to the increased risk they now have. We are working collaboratively with other stakeholders on an amendment to provide clarity to the law, and our hope is that the law will be interpreted consistently. If the law is not consistently implemented, we will see a reduction in the number of insurers offering these plans to our seniors. Our goal is to have a level playing field and to have as many options as possible available to our senior consumers. Once the amendment is finalized, we do encourage you to pass AB 127. I am available if there are any questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are now ready for questions.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. Committee members, any questions? I don't see any. I have a question, and it's definitely not my specialty. So for the individuals who did not get paid their commission, once we clarify this language, is it going to be retroactive at all?
Thank you for the question, Madam Chair. It's not my intent to make it retroactive. It's my intent to clarify it moving forward.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions? I don't see any. I will open up for testimony in support of Assembly Bill 127. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in support? I don't see anyone walking up. Broadcast, is there anyone on the phone?
Callers, if you'd like to testify in support of AB 127, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Again, if you'd like to testify in support of AB 127, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Callers with the last 3 digits, 438, you are unmuted and may begin. Callers with the last 4 digits or 3 digits of 438, are you muted?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Dr. Sean Flake. I'm here today representing Elite Orthotherapy and Sports Medicine Las Vegas. And I'm a licensed naturopath from New Mexico. I moved out to
Sir,
Las Vegas,
sir,
Nevada, 2.5 years.
Sir,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We are not currently on that bill. We're on Assembly Bill 127. So if you'd like to call back once we open up that bill, you're more than welcome.
Okay, great. Is there a certain time?
If you just want to keep hearing our committee hearing today, that would be great. I can't give you a specific time.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't connected to hear the hearing yet. If I stay on the line, I can hear that?
Yeah, absolutely, if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Broadcast, is there anyone else on the line wishing to give support testimony to Assembly Bill 127?
Caller with the last three digits 052, you are unmuted and may begin.
Hello, and thank you, Madam Chair, Marzola, and committee members. And thank you again to Assemblywoman Howdigi for helping us support our industry. My name is Chris Carruthers, President of Carruthers Insurance Agency, also a member of NABIP, the National Association of Benefits of Insurance Professionals. I'm currently state president. Last couple of years, as we've worked through this bill and have had carriers to come into market to be competitive, they have had very much being a part of the solution and offering competitive products and be able to support the AB 250 birthday rule. And they were compensating brokers as was intended. However, due to adverse selection, the carriers this one particular carrier has had to increase rates, reduce commissions because they were unnecessarily targeted since most carriers were not following the intent or spirit of the law. So we want to encourage carriers to continue to do business in Nevada and make it a level playing field. We appreciate your support. And this AB 127, I'm in full support of it as well. And thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you for your testimony. If you're still on the line, can you spell your name for the record?
Carruthers, Carrothers.
Thank you, and thank you again for your testimony. Broadcast, is there anyone else on the line?
If recently joined and would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 127, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to testimony in opposition to Assembly Bill 127. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition? I don't see anyone. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in opposition to AB 127, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. We will move to neutral testimony. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to provide neutral testimony to Assembly Bill 127? I don't see anyone. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in neutral for Assembly Bill 127, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers wishing to testify in neutral at this time.
Thank you. Assemblywoman Howdigi, did you want to give? Okay, no final remarks. We will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 127. 1 minute recess. Before we, well, we are back on. Before we go to Assembly Bill 153, we are actually going to start our work session. Just a reminder to all committee members, it is not customary for the committee to take testimony or otherwise rehear the bills during our work session. However, I may invite a witness to come forward for clarification or questions during our consideration of a measure. We will start with Assembly Bill 22. I will turn it over to our policy analyst, Mrs. Pasloff-Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Margie Thomas for the record. AB 22 revises provisions governing the issuance of a cease and desist order for unlicensed activity by the State Contractors Board. It was heard by the committee on March 1st. There is one proposed amendment by the Nevada District Attorneys Association, which was discussed during the hearing, and that is to amend subsection 3B of section 1 of the bill to require the board, after issuing a cease and desist order, to issue an administrative citation and impose an administrative fine if the violation is a first violation and does not involve fraud or theft. For a second or subsequent violation, or for a first violation involving fraud or theft, require the board to either issue an administrative citation and impose an administrative fine, or report the violation for possible criminal prosecution.
Thank you. Members, any questions? I don't see any. I'll entertain a motion to amend and do pass of Assembly Bill 22.
So moved.
I have a first from Vice Chair Howdigy. Is there a second? I have a second from Assemblywoman Torres. Any discussion? I don't see any. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those in opposition, please say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Next, we will go to oh. Thank you. I'll assign that floor statement to Assemblyman Urick. Next, we'll start with Assembly Bill 23.
Assembly Bill 23 revises provisions governing the resolution of certain administrative citations issued by the State Contractors Board. It was heard by the committee on March 1st, and there are two proposed amendments by the Executive Officer of the State Contractors Board. The first is to amend Section 4 of the bill to require that if the board receives written notice that a person is contesting an administrative citation or order to correct a violation, it must hold a hearing on the contested matter within 90 days of receiving the written notice. And the second proposed amendment is to change the effective date of the bill to October 1, 2023.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to amend and do pass on Assembly Bill 23.
So moved.
I have a first from Vice Chair Howdigy. Is there a second? I have a second from Assemblywoman Torres. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. I'll assign that floor statement to Assemblyman Carter. Next, we will hear Assembly Bill 27.
Assembly Bill 27 revises provisions relating to contractors who provide management and counseling services on construction projects. It was heard on February 13th. There is one proposed amendment by the State Contractors Board, and that is to amend subsection 6A of section 1 on page 3 of the bill, line 7, to replace each with the phrase "the same."
Thank you. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to amend and do pass of Assembly Bill 27.
So moved.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Howdigy. Is there a second? Second from Assemblywoman Backus. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. I'll assign that floor statement to Assemblywoman Torres. Next, we will go to Assembly Bill 29.
Assembly Bill 29 revises the grounds for disciplinary action against a licensed contractor. It was heard by the committee on February 13th. The Executive Officer of the State Contractors Board proposes the following amendment, which is to amend subsection 14 of section 1 of the bill to remove the provisions of subsection 14 and instead provide that the making or the causing to be made of a false or misleading statement or representation or the omission of a material fact by a licensee who is a natural person and owner of a licensee the managing officer of a licensee, or any person who qualifies on behalf of a licensee pursuant to subsection 2 of NRS 624.260 in connection with the application of another person for a contractor's license for the purpose of assisting the applicant to obtain a license constitutes cause for disciplinary action against the licensee by the State Contractors Board.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Oh, okay. No questions. I'll entertain a motion to amend and do pass on Assembly Bill 29.
So moved.
I have motion to amend and do pass from Vice Chair Howdigy. Is there a second? Second from Assemblyman Urick. Any discussion? I don't see any. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. I'll assign this floor statement to Assemblywoman Kasama. Next, we will move to Assembly Bill 39.
Assembly Bill 39 revises provisions relating to contracts for work concerning certain residential improvements. It was heard by the committee on February 13th. There is one proposed amendment by the Executive Officer of the State Contractors Board, and that is to amend subsection 2G of Section 1 of the bill, which sets forth requirements for an initial down payment or deposit to provide that those requirements do not apply if the residential contractor has filed with the board a bond for the protection of consumers in the amount of $100,000.
Members, any questions? Assemblyman O'Neill?
Thank you, Chair. Actually, it's not a question. I'll be voting yes, but I'll be reserving my right on the floor. I still have some concerns with the contract and the bonding. Oh, excuse me, Chair. With the contract and the bonding language, that is, it's in the amendment. So I want to talk to some folks still and see if I can clarify it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. No, can you wait till discussion? Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to amend and do pass on Assembly Bill 39.
So moved.
I will take the motion from Vice Chair Howdigy, and I'll take a second from Assemblyman Carter. Any discussion? Assemblywoman Backus?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. And actually today I'll be voting no because I do have concerns over Assembly Bill 39 as I struggle with the specialized legislation that does not have any justification to support the regulation to this extent of contracts between a consumer and a contractor who is doing a remodel, especially since we have so many protections under Chapter 624. As a highlight, I still struggle with the specifications portion that would all have to be upfront when that just is not a reality for remodels. So to provide the failure to include such as making the contract voidable, I have a lot of concerns, so I'll be voting no.
Thank you. Anyone else? I will take a motion to amend and do pass.
So moved. Oh, we already did that.
Oh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. I will assign that floor statement to Assemblywoman Hardy. Our last Assembly bill in our work session is Assembly Bill 236.
Assembly Bill 236 revises provisions governing the practice of psychology. It was sponsored by Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, heard on March 13th, and there are no proposed amendments.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions? I don't see any. I'll entertain a motion to do pass on Assembly Bill 236.
So moved.
I have a motion to do pass from Vice Chair Howdigy. Is there a second? Assemblyman O'Neill has second. Any discussion on this motion? I don't see any. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. I will assign that floor statement to Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno. This concludes our work session for today. 1 minute recess.
Committee, we will now come back to order. I will now open the hearing on Assembly Bill 153. Chair Marzola, when you are ready.
Thank you, Vice Chair Howdiggy and members of the committee. I'm Assemblywoman Elaine Marzola, representing Assembly District 21. I am here to present Assembly Bill 153, which provides the regulations of the practice of naturopathy. Ashley Cruz from Carrera, Nevada, and Dr. Patrick Nuzzo is joining me today and will walk the committee through the bill and answer any questions that the committee may have. Just to give you a little bit of background information, naturopathy is a branch of medicine that focuses on the evaluation and treatment of neuromusculoskeletal conditions. Doctors of naturopathy are connective tissue specialists. Naturopaths treat the connective tissue pulling the bony structure out of alignment. He or she treats through the muscle into the fascia to affect and realign the ligaments that pull the bony structure out of alignment, which differs from a chiropractic approach and focuses on forcing the vertebrae into alignment. Naturopathy was founded in the early 1900s by Dr. Oakley Smith. The National College of Naturopathic Medicine, founded by Dr. Smith, stayed open and continues to offer programs since 1906. Naturopaths in the United States are licensed as doctors of naturopathy and are currently practicing in Illinois, New Mexico, and are regulated in Ohio. Dr. Nuzzo founded the first and only U.S. accredited school of naturopathy, Southwest University of Naturopathic Medicine. The SUNM program is a professional degree, which is 190 academic quarter credit hours beyond the bachelor's degree. Currently, it is a licensed profession in New Mexico and Illinois. While some states may recognize the degree and profession, they do not license it. This means treatments are not covered by health insurance. Naturopathy provides Nevadans another treatment option for a variety of health conditions. As we all know, Nevada struggles as a state with access to care, ranking 46 out of 51 in active physicians per state. Naturopaths can help fill this gap, this very important gap, by helping patients who are seeking relief for back and joint pain from our doctors, freeing up their offices to treat other ailments and diseases. Naturopathy is also a better alternative to painkillers and can help fight the opioid epidemic in our state. One of the UFC doctors is a doctor who practices here in Nevada and is trained in naturopath. Many sports are looking at alternative medicines and treatments for their athletes. Naturopathy will create more access to care, give Nevada residents options, and provide for economic development opportunities in our state. With your permission, Vice Chair Howdiggy, I would like to have Dr. Nuzzo go through the bill and answer any questions that the committee may have.
Yes, absolutely. When you're ready, Doctor.
Vice Chair Howdiggy, members of the committee, I really want to thank you for the opportunity to present this bill today. Naturopathic medicine brings a great opportunity to the state of Nevada and their citizens in treating pain without pharmaceutical medications. I'm going to go through the bill right now, starting with Section 10. And answer any questions after we go through this. Section 10 actually sets out to put an advisory board together. In New Mexico, where we're licensed, we are licensed under the medical board, and I am chair of the advisory board back there. And we advise the medical board on all issues of naturopathic medicine and anything that goes on with the profession. So the advisory board does a bulk of the work for the profession, for the board back in New Mexico, and we will do the same thing here. Section 11 defines a naturopath. Naturopath means a person who is a graduate of a program of education in naturopathy approved by the board, or who by general education practices in the state. So we make recommendations again to as an advisory board to the osteopathic board on the education. As an accredited institution, we have our standards in place and our our curriculum in place, and it meets the standards of an accredited university giving a doctoral level program. Section 12, again, it explains and defines nephropathy. Assemblywoman Marzola talked about napropaths are connective tissue specialists. We focus on treating the connective tissue. In New Mexico, our license is a doctor of naturopathic medicine, and we are designated as connective tissue specialists. We're covered by every major insurance company in New Mexico, by the way. Section 13, Naturopathic Practice Advisory Board is created. This is where the governor will create a board, an advisory board, that will serve under the osteopathic board as giving recommendations to. We, again, do the bulk of the work. We don't expect many napropaths to begin with. We may only have a half a dozen come and get licensed the first year here. Our plan is once we get the license to practice, we will bring the school, open the school, and within about 3 years, we'll start seeing good numbers of napropaths graduating from our program and coming through. Is there any questions on anything that's going? Okay. We're going to go to Section 13. That was just that. Section 14, the advisory board shall elect a chairperson. The rules and regs are kind of stated out here. We have, there'll be people who live in the state, and there'll be 3 napropaths and 2 public members that are appointed. And again, we will serve the osteopathic board and serve the state as the advisors to the profession. 15, the State Board of Osteopathic Medicine, with the advice of the advisory board, shall adopt the regulations of ruling naturopathic medicine. So they will guide the licensure, the continuing education, and again, we provide all this information, and even on continuing education in New Mexico, as an advisory board, we review all the continuing education and make sure that it meets the standards for relicensure. And we do that for that board there. We would do the same thing for the osteopathic board here. Section 16, a person who is enrolled in a program of education in nephropathy is approved by the board pursuant to the regulations of the act, is not licensed to practice nephropathy. This is saying that we could bring a napropath or a teacher in for a period of 1 month, that they can come and be a guest lecturer or teacher at the school or in one of the clinics. It makes a provision for that. Moving on to Section 17, except as otherwise provided in Sections 18 and 19, this act, an applicant for a license to practice nephropathy must be 21 years of age, graduate from a school that's accredited and providing the required amount of hours that they can sit for a licensure exam here. Section 18, the board may issue a license by endorsement to practice nephropathy to an applicant who meets all the requirements. Again, that's all laid out in our curriculum, that's laid out in the school's curriculum, and we are governed by the accreditor, and we meet those standards and are very compliant with those rules. Section 19, the board may issue a license by endorsement of nephropathy to an applicant who meets requirements set forth in this section. An endorsement would be somebody who comes to the state from either Illinois or New Mexico that would want to get a license here. Again, as long as they met the requirements of the board here in New Mexico, the educational requirements and the licensure requirements, and a license could be issued by endorsement then. Section 20, the board shall prepare a test for the practice of nephropathy. Now, there is a National Board of Naturopathic Examiners, okay, that gives the test in New Mexico and Illinois. We would do the same thing here. We would not need to write a new license exam here in Nevada. We would recommend that we use the national board exam that's already in place, that's already been given to naturopaths around the country. Southwest University of Naturopathic Medicine has graduated 48 naturopaths already, and they've all taken and passed that license exam to get licensed by the medical board in New Mexico. Section 21 is each license to practice naprapathy issued pursuant to this chapter expires January 1st. This is a renewal of each license every year, and there's going to be continuing education credits that go along with the renewal of licenses each year. And again, the advisory board and the school and the association would provide the continuing education credits for the relicensing and reissuing of license here. Section 22, each person licensed to practice naprapathy should display his license. License has got to be displayed in an office so people could see that we're licensed naprapaths, that we are protected by the citizens of New Mexico and by the licensing board. Section 23, if a naprapath determines that a diagnosis, this is very important, and we teach this in all of our classes. If this is out of our scope of practice, okay, we know when to send patients to a medical doctor, okay? We treat neuromusculoskeletal conditions, okay? The number 2 and 3 reason that people go and see medical doctors everywhere is joint pain and back pain. Just by having naprapaths or chiropractors or acupuncturists treat these conditions, you get these people off of medical doctors' rolls where they can treat arthritis and heart disease and some of the conditions that are, really necessary of medical care. And there's no chance of, any kind of opioid prescription overdose when you're getting and seeing a manual therapist. And that's really the sections that we have changed within the Osteopathic Practice Act. And is there any questions that I can answer?
We can continue through the whole bill, and then we'll take questions at the end.
Do you want to go through the amendment? We'll go through the amendment.
Thank you, Vice Chair and members of the committee. We have accepted 2 friendly amendments for this bill, one from the Massage Board and one from the Chiropractic Board. The amendments are just to clearly define that naprapathy is specific to their scope of practice, that they are not going to creep into chiropractic or into the massage therapy. And so for subsection 12, subsection 2B, the term does not include the practice of massage therapy as defined in NRS 640C.060 or the practice of structural integration as defined in NRS 640C.085. The other amendment is also in section 12 and will be in B, excluding any manipulation that would constitute a chiropractic adjustment as defined in NRS 634.014, and subsection 2B1, surgery, pharmacology, or any procedure or technique that is invasive or otherwise breaks the skin, including but not limited to the use of needles or syringes. We worked with a number of stakeholders on this bill to make sure that naprapathy is practicing in their scope and not creeping into other lanes.
Now we're going to finish the remainder, or Elaine Marzola for the record. We're going to finish the remainder of the bill and then stand for questions.
And before you begin, I do want to remind all speakers to identify yourselves before giving any remarks.
We just start.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, section 24.
Identify yourself.
Dr. Nuzzo, Vice Chair, thank you for the opportunity. Section 24, this chapter, unless the context otherwise requires, the words defined, I'm trying to think. It's providing medical or naturopathic services to a patient while under the osteopathic position. Napropath or physician assistance is under the influence of alcohol or any controlled substance. Knowing the willful disregard or established medical or naturopathic procedures. I'm seeing, yeah, there's these changes. It's just adding naturopathy to the osteopathic bill here. How do you want to take these through?
Madam Vice Chair, Ashley Cruz for the record. The additions to the rest of the bill are just adding in naturopathy as a practice. We're happy to walk through each section. I know the bill is 65 pages long, but it is just adding in the practice of naturopathy or adding in napropath to the rest of the bill. Section 39. If you want to go to section 39. Talk about the license, right?
Okay. Okay. Madam Vice Chair, Dr. Nuzzo, Section 39 is the actual license and the fees associated with the license for naturopathy. The board shall charge and collect and not to exceed the following amounts. The naturopaths were added in an application fee and a license fee of $500 and an annual renewal fee of $500 for a naturopath. And the other fees in there would be more towards the osteopathic board. So our fee is a $500 application fee and an annual license renewal of $500 for a naturopath to practice here. And that would go along with some continuing education requirements as well. Okay.
Madam Vice Chair, Ashley Cruz for the record. We're happy to answer any questions that the committee may have.
Thank you for the presentation, Chair Marzola, and your guests as well. I am going to go to the committee first. I know I had two questions, and you just answered one of them. So I'm going to go to the committee first. I'm going to start with Assemblyman Urick.
Thank you, Vice Chair, and thank you for the presentation and for taking the time to come in and meet me beforehand, because I will confess I heard naturopathy and I had no idea what that was. In fact, subsequent to our meeting, I reached out to a couple of doctor friends of mine, including DOs, which I understand this is kind of a tailing of part of that practice. And I'll be honest, none of them had heard of this practice. So it just kind of got me thinking. While it sounds like, having gone through the bill, you guys have done a great job of regulating yourself, licensing yourself, training yourselves to make sure that you're up to speed on everything that's there. A decision to have the state license you is an endorsement of the state for this kind of what seems to be a relatively new or unknown, new, I guess, is debatable, but relatively unknown in this state. And that's kind of a big step. And so I guess my question is there, because I didn't see anything in here or anything that you necessarily provided that showed me data or research that might justify this sort of step to have the state endorse this practice through licensure and basically classify you as providers of health care.
State your name for the record.
This is Dr. Nuzzo, Madam Vice Chair, Assemblyman. This practice is manual medicine. Manual medicine is utilized throughout Nevada by chiropractors, by acupuncturists, by physical therapists, by osteopaths. We're another branch. We're a branch that's not new. We're almost 130 years old. We've been around for a long time. We've just not been recognized. We didn't accredit a school until just 2 years ago. This profession will bring health care and will bring people towards the state for health care. I think, in New Mexico, We started the same way 20 years ago. Nobody knew about us. We went through the session. We got ourselves licensed. We were then asked to bring a school to the state, which we did. We brought a state to the school. We've graduated almost 50 naprapaths. Every major insurance company in New Mexico covers naturopathic treatments. As a matter of fact, the governor of New Mexico has waived all deductibles on their insured, on the state employees who are insured, so they can come and see somebody for musculoskeletal pain without a deductible, without going and being on a medical doctor's roll, right? Without going and getting an appointment at a medical doctor's office. They come directly to a manual therapist like a naprapath. I believe that, 20 years ago, the osteopathic school opened here. There was 40 students. There was 4,000 square feet. Now you have a school of 1,500 students and 500,000 square foot of building there. I believe we could do the same thing in 10 years. We'll bring doctors here, we'll bring naprapaths here, we'll bring economic development here. We work hard to make ourselves known. I've come up here 4 times already. I'm going to be treating, and we're going to get this profession known. I've seen it happen in New Mexico, and there's no reason it's not going to happen here in Nevada. And the data, you guys are short of doctors. Okay, there's no question about it. You've got a huge opioid problem here, just like every other state. We can come in and solve 2 of those problems by licensing us and bringing other naprapaths into the state. Thank you.
Before I go to other committee members, I want to jump in because it's sort of along the same lines, and I'm a big proponent of of licensing and regulating industries for a couple of reasons. Mainly, when we create a new license for an industry, there's a lot of consumer protections that go along with it, right? So, if our consumers are if our constituents, if our constituents are being seen by a naprapath and something goes wrong, then there's really no overseeing, agency, right? So now they'll have a mechanism by which they can go file complaints. There's going to be regulations. There's going to be standards set in place. And so my question was, is there any practicing naprapaths in Nevada right now?
Madam Vice Chair, Assemblywoman, I'm Dr. Nuzzo. We have 2 licensed naprapaths in the state, but they can't practice as naprapaths. One practices as a chiropractor still, the other practices as a massage therapist. But they are working within the MMA and the UFC here. They have very large practices here, and we are looking to train more doctors and get them working alongside these docs that are already here.
Thank you for that. And I do have one more question. I think I did see it in here, but once you're licensed in the state, you'd have the authority also to prescribe, correct?
Madam Vice Chair, Assemblywoman, no, there is no prescriptions. We treat stress, aches, and pains without the use of pharmaceutical medications. It's all hands-on. Dr. Nuzzo.
Thank you. And I thought so. I just wanted to put that on the record. Okay, committee members, any other questions? I'm going to go to Assemblywoman Bacchus, and then we will go to Assemblywoman Hardy next.
Thank you so much, and I really do appreciate the time you've taken. And I'm a big fan now of naprapathy. This is the hardest thing to say. I jinxed myself because I was like, I'm going to say it right when I get this. But my question for you, and I think you did a good job, and I think it's good to put on the record, is the type of education that goes into becoming a naprapath.
Assemblywoman Elaine Marzola for the record, and Dr. Nuzzo will answer this, but just so all the committee members know, I did put curriculum in everyone's desk a few minutes ago or before the meeting, so you would have a copy, and it's very thorough, but I'm sure Dr. Nuzzo can go through it as well. Yeah.
Madam Vice Chair, Assemblywoman, our program is 100. I'm Dr. Nuzzo. I'm sorry. I'm Dr. Nuzzo. Our program is 190 quarter credit hours past a bachelor's degree. Okay, we are an incredibly thorough educational program. Again, we are the very first school of naturopathic medicine to ever be accredited. Now, that brought a lot of problems to us because there was no comparisons between us and any other naturopathic schools. So we had to go self-compare to chiropractic schools, osteopathic schools, and we had to reach our level up to those standards in order for our accreditor to accept us. It took us quite a few years to get through. We have 90 hours in basic sciences, spinal anatomy, neuroanatomy, physiology, biology, chemistry. I mean, you name it. We really educate these students. And then we have 90 hours of what we call naturopathic sciences. And that's our hands-on manual medicine. And our curriculum is delivered 75% online. It's a hybrid program. Our students come into the clinic, into the classroom once a week, depending upon their quarter. They're either doing 1, 2, or 3 classes a week, hands-on. They have an internship component of the program. It's the last year of the school in one of the school intern clinics. Research is a huge part of our curriculum. The Naturopathic Research Project is something that is going to really carry this profession forward. Again, it's a 130-year-old profession. There's not been that much known about it, done about it. We plan to change that. Dr. Oakley Smith was a genius. He developed this program, and he developed scientific manipulative therapy. Okay, it's the only manual medicine that has science behind it. And we are going to prove manual medicine. So we are accepted by medicine and known by medicine and working alongside medical doctors. We're integrative. We're not other than, we're integrative with them. We work alongside medical practitioners. Thank you for your question.
Any follow-up, Assemblywoman? Okay, I'm going to go to Assemblywoman Hardy next.
Thank you, Vice Chair, and thank you for this presentation. I, too, had never heard of this, and very familiar with chiropractors and physical therapists, so it was quite interesting to learn that this exists. So I just wanted to make sure, as far as like the tests that you mentioned they would take, this national examination, that's something that already exists that you would bring to Nevada for the individuals to be licensed, is that correct?
Yes, Madam Chair, Assemblywoman, yes. That National Board of Naturopathic Examiners, I'm Dr. Nuzzo, that Naturopathic Examiners test is available. It is a national test, and yes, we can bring that into the state very easily.
Follow-up. Okay, thank you. And then also, if you could just, you mentioned they have continuing education they're required each year. Like, how many hours is that? And then one last thing, would it be your intent to possibly have a school here in Nevada?
Yeah. I'm Dr. Nuzzo. Madam Vice Chair, Assemblywoman, yes, we are bringing a school here. That was the whole impetus. I mean, I was going to go get the license first for the school, but I thought, let's do the legislation first and see what kind of, support that we got here. And we have wonderful support here. But my purpose is to bring a school to Nevada and to duplicate that osteopathic school that sits in Henderson, Nevada right now. I think we can graduate 100, 150 students a year within, the first 5, 6 years. Being accredited and having financial aid as a school right now is going to open the doors significantly, and we couldn't be at a better time. The pandemic really made people aware of how important it is to take care of themselves. And, naturopathic medicine is anti-inflammatory medicine, and that's what people are understanding now. They can't take medication for their ills. They really need to do other things, so. Yeah, the continuing education is something that we provide as our association provides continuing education, but the university provides continuing education. And in New Mexico, we have to do 30 hours of continuing education every year. 3 hours of that has to be ethics, and the rest has to be in the naturopathic and manual sciences. And we will provide all that. Thank you for your question.
Okay, next I'm going to move on to Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and thank you, Madam Chair, for the presentation. I, too, was interested to hear about naturopathy. You know, my father had back surgery twice at the age of like 22. So maybe something like this could have been helpful for him. So I'm kind of wondering what that treatment process looks like. So how long does an individual have to go? Is it that they have to consistently go to naturopathic treatment for the course of their lifetime, or is it something that would be treatable and then they would be able to stop and then come back, obviously, if something occurred?
Madam Vice Chair, Assemblywoman, I'm Dr. Nuzzo. That's a great question. You know, naturopathic treatments focus on areas of complaint, but it's a full body treatment. Somebody like your father, you know, we would wind up doing treatments weekly, probably 3 weeks in a row, and evaluate, because naturopathic treatments are very specific. They go right after the areas. We take findings, we treat according to findings. So usually somebody who's scheduled for a surgery, they will come in, take a look, get 3 treatments in a row, kind of give them some exercises, give them some rehab, give them some diet recommendations, and see how they're progressing. We usually get a person who needs surgery to come once a month for maybe 2 or 3 months, and then let's see how they're doing. Most people like to, you know, people who have problems that are needing surgery are usually people who are working in repetitive motion type jobs. And unless they could stop doing what irritates, they need to continue coming and doing treatments, because if they're doing something all day long that's irritating a portion of their body, they need correction. If they're able to, you know, it was a fall, it was an injury, you know, it was a one-time thing, you're able to get them in and out. We don't have to do a lifetime of treatment. But, you know, it all depends upon the person. But we get great success. We've saved tons and tons and tons of surgeries for the state of New Mexico by having their patients come to us before they see a medical doctor. Thank you for your question.
Follow-up, Assemblywoman? Are you good? Okay, members, any questions? I'm going to go to Assemblyman O'Neill.
Thank you, Vice Chair, for the time. It's a really interesting proposal you've brought before us. I've got to say, I'm very, very curious, and I probably have about 6 or 7 questions, but I think Vice Chair will only limit me to maybe at the best 2.
Okay.
But a friend of mine was on one of the Tour de France and European bicycling teams for years. And I rode bikes with him, believe it or not, even in this years ago, may I say. But he introduced me to a massage therapy program or technique called, I think it was Rolfing.
Okay.
And it sounds very, very, very similar to what you're doing in the sense it was deep tissue movement massage. Can you explain to me what's the difference? Because you said one of the doctors here is licensed, is only working as a massage therapist now, I think you said. Explain to me the Rolfing, the difference between the two, if there is.
Sure. Assemblywoman, Assemblyman, I'm Dr. Nuzzo, thank you. Rolfing is fascia, the working of the fascia. Napropaths work on fascia, but that's only one of the things we work on. Napropaths do spinal manipulation. We align bony structure. We don't just massage, okay? What we do is we work through the fascia into the connective tissue, the ligaments that affect the bony structure alignment. It's scientific spinal manipulation. So the only real likeness that we have to Rolfing is we both touch the fascia, right? We are spinal manipulators, and that's what our forte is, bringing spinal alignment and bringing, you know, nerve, lymph, blood flow in its optimal form. And I forget the second question you asked about Rolfing, and
it was just basically because you said your one doctor here is just working as a massage therapist.
No, he's doing naturopathic techniques, but he can't get a naturopathic license here. So he's treating under a massage. I mean, you know, it's a massage therapy license. It's naturopathic techniques. We don't do any high velocity adjustments. He learns spinal manipulation through a naturopathic school, and that's what he's utilizing right now, treating the MMA fighters.
Thank you. And Chair, I have 2, they're basically almost yes/nos, if I may. Where did you get, you said there's the 2 schools have just been accredited in the last couple of years. Where did you get your training from?
Well, I'm Dr. Nuzzo, Assembly. Assemblyman.
Very quickly, though. Let me ask the other question first, then.
Okay.
That is yes. You said you're covered by insurance. Does that include Medicare?
Does not include Medicare.
And then where did you get your training from? Very quickly,
Assemblyman, I got my education from the school in Chicago that was the only school open in the States when I went to school 40 years ago. They are not accredited. We're the only accredited school. That's one of the reasons this profession hasn't grown. Nobody ever accredited a school.
I got more, but that's it. Thank you, Vice Chair. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Assemblyman. I was just giving you a hard time. Members, any other questions? I do have one, because one of my colleagues just, brought up about the school, if there would be a school built here. Your school in New Mexico that was built, the accredited school, was that funded by the state with private dollars?
I'm Dr. Nuzzo, Madam Chair, Assemblywoman. It's a private school, self-funded. I'm one of the majority owners of the school. And we will be bringing a school to Nevada.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Oh, I'm going to go to Assemblywoman Duran.
Thank you, and I think I'm interested in this as well. I have back issues, but I was just wondering, I think we all do, these chairs are a little bit, who accredits you and who makes the rules for that? I'm just curious.
Madam Chair, Assemblywoman, we are accredited by the distance. I'm Dr. Nuzzo. We are accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, and they are overseen by the U.S. Department of Education. They have to answer to them as we have to answer to DEAC has to answer to the federal government as we have to answer to DEAC and their standards.
Thank you. That's still, it's just, this is not my wheelhouse. So I was just wondering if there was a higher up that does this for you. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, we are going to move to testimony in support. If you are in support in Carson City, please approach the table. We will take testimony in Carson City first, then we will move to Las Vegas, then we will check the phone lines. Mr. Esposito, when you're ready.
Greg Esposito, representing the Nevada State Pipe Trades. I haven't been able to feel these three fingers for 2 weeks. Carpal tunnel syndrome. I've been wearing this brace for a week. The doctor was downstairs and he beat up on me for about 5 minutes, and my fingers are actually feeling better already. I'm actually hoping I can get another couple of treatments before he leaves or something like that. But in all seriousness, I represent construction workers. We don't like taking pills. Okay, we don't want to be on prescription medications the rest of our lives. And as the doctor said, you commit to surgery and sometimes you're going to be out for a long time and you don't always recover. If this is a new medical, or if this is a medical technique that keeps us, out from underneath the knife and not at the pharmacy every couple of weeks, I'd really like to see it explored. We'd really like to see it explored as an option. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Vanderpool?
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Nick Vanderpool with Flynn Judici Government Affairs, here today on behalf of the Nevada State Board of Massage Therapy. The Board of Massage Therapy appreciates Assemblywoman Marzola and Ms. Cruz working with us on the friendly amendment. And on Naparathi and Assembly Bill 153, the Board of Massage Therapy welcomes another profession that focuses on rehabilitation, health, and wellness for Nevadans. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Is there anyone else in Carson City wishing to testify in support? BPS, could we check the telephone line for anyone in support?
If you'd like to testify in support to Assembly Bill 153, please press star 9 or raise hand in your Zoom window now to take your place in the queue.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. We can hear you. Would you please state your name and spell it for the record before you begin your testimony?
Yes, I will, Madam Chair. Thank you very much. Madam Chair, my name is Mary K. Papin. My last name is P-A-P-E-N. And I'm a former senator, former for the state of New Mexico for 20 years, and I was pro tem for 8 years. Thank you. Can I go ahead with my testimony, Madam Chair?
Yes, please begin.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate that. Madam Chair, I first met Dr. Nuzio 2020. And 20. I have always been very active. I've ridden horses, motorcycles, all kinds of things. But I was roller skating in California, and I did a flip in the air because I was showing off and slammed my back down. Dr. Nuzio came to the legislature in New Mexico and offered to come and give me a treatment or two. And I was walking with the cane. I thought I was going to be in a wheelchair because I thought I might even have to leave the session. It was in such bad shape. Well, he came and he gave me treatments, and I never had to have surgery. I'm not walking with a cane ever again or in a wheelchair. And I've been fully supportive of what Dr. Nuzio has done. And I think many of us in the state of New Mexico, I carried legislation and we were able to get it passed. And to watch this progress with the school and what has happened here in New Mexico. And I believe recently the governor's office called him up there to come up and take care of all the people in her office as well. So it's something that is really does make a difference in your posture, in the way you feel, and the way your body can operate, and the relief of pain and moving forward. And I'd be happy, Madam Chair, to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for your testimony, Senator Pappen. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next caller. We appreciate you calling in. BPS, could we go to the next caller in support, please? Thank you.
Rick Miera, M-I-E-R-A.
Please begin when you're ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Assemblywoman Mazzola, and Vice Chair, and members of the Commerce and Labor Committee. I'm former State Representative Rick Miera. During my service in the legislature, I served as the majority floor leader and the longest serving chair of education in the state of New Mexico. I am also retired from the Department of Psychiatry at the University of New Mexico and a strong advocate for alternative medicine, most notably naprapathy. I come before you to speak on behalf of Assembly Bill 153. During my 24 years in the education arena, many significant measures were researched and passed in regular and higher education, but none more important and significant than those that allow students to receive licensure in naprapathy, allowing students to attend high school and receive higher education credit to attain this medical and other degrees. New Mexico, and I am sure students in Nevada, will experience the opportunity to graduate with a degree and postgraduate experience that can serve the citizens of Nevada. The number of college admissions have significantly increased since the creation of a pipeline from post-secondary institutions to a doctoral degree with hands-on training. Naprapathy has transformed into a first-rate medical career, benefiting urban and especially rural communities so lacking in these services. So, what can this mean for the state of Nevada? A new medical sector assisting patients with more treatment options and numerous economic benefits. Thank you for your time, and I ask that you give a due pass to Assembly Bill 153. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, Leader Miera. BPS, I will take the next caller, please.
Hello?
Hi, yes, we can hear you. Please state your name and spell it, and then begin your testimony.
Yes, my name is Leanne Smith, L-E, capital A-N-N-E, Smith, S-M-I-T-H. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Leanne Smith, and I am the granddaughter of Oakley Smith, founder of naturopathic medicine. I am a professor of dance at Texas State University, where I have taught for 40 years with expertise in the field of kinesiology. I currently serve on the advisory board for SUNM and as secretary for the Naturopathic Research Foundation. As someone who is rigorously trained in the art of dance with a performance career spanning 50 years, I can attest to the brilliance of the science and medicine that is the practice of naturopathy. I have seen chiropractors, rolfers, and massage therapists, and no other manual medicine has so comprehensively and consistently addressed my needs as a human mover and dance artist. It was due to the naturopathic treatments that I received over the last year at SUNM that I was able to perform this past October at the age of 68 in my final professional performance at Texas State. Licensing naturopathy in Nevada is critical to the well-being of your citizens. As people who are living longer and desire a good quality of life, including the ability to be active for as long as possible, access to naturopathic medical care in Nevada will provide access to a modality that has proven to be profoundly healing. You see, my grandfather was very careful in naming his work. The word naturopathy comes from the word napravit, which means to correct the cause. Oakley was determined to develop, research, and practice a medical modality that did more than merely treat symptoms, and he did. SUN continues this brilliant work today. Steeped in research, pedagogy, and practice, SUNM is the flagship for naturopathy, an integrative medicine that can and does address chronic pain, inflammation, and body trauma, all without the use of drugs. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your testimony. BPS, next caller, please.
Caller with the last three digits 459, please unmute. Caller with the last
Can you hear
three
me now?
digits. Yes, we can hear you.
Hi there. Hi, my name is Dr. Bo Hightower. I'm a licensed naturopath in New Mexico and a licensed chiropractor in New Mexico. I also have my chiropractic degree and license in Nevada as well. I'm an alumnus of Southwest University of Naturopathic Medicine and also clinical faculty there as well. I joined the school once I realized how great of a treatment naturopathy was and how much it improved my skill set from my previous chiropractic education. Using that technique and these skill sets has allowed me to work with over 20 UFC champions, gold medal winners, and celebrities of the like that are able to experience the benefits of naturopathy that takes my chiropractic skills to a completely different level. We're hoping to expand into Nevada as well from a business perspective. We would like to bring our skill set to the UFC and to Las Vegas as well. And we're hoping to bring a lot of business and a lot of practitioners there as well. So.
Thank you, Mr. Hightower. Would you please spell your first and last name for the record?
Yes, my first name is Beau. Last name is Hightowер.
Thank you so much for your testimony and for calling in. BPS, next caller, please.
Hi, my name is Dr. Harris Silver. First name is Harris. The last name is Silver. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I am a retired ear, nose, and throat and head and neck surgeon, and I have worked in New Mexico as a drug policy analyst and advocate since 2010. I left New Mexico a couple of years ago. Most recently, I served for 2 years as the chair of the subcommittee on integrative pain management of the New Mexico Governor's Pain Management and Overdose Reduction Advisory Council. I support all modalities for managing acute and chronic pain that reduce the risk of addiction to opioid pain medications. Naturopathic medicine is an evidence-based discipline that accomplishes this by itself or as part of a multidisciplinary program with other modalities. Opioid addiction and associated overdose deaths is one of the most important and dangerous crises we continue to struggle with nationally, as well as in New Mexico and Nevada, with no relief in sight. All it takes is one prescription of opioid medications to begin a dangerous and at times a deadly addiction to opioids such as oxycodone, fentanyl, and even heroin. Naturopathy absolutely avoids or reduces the need for opioid pain medication. And I want to say for the record, I refer to this as integrative medicine, not as alternative medicine. It's not an alternative. It in itself works. On our committee, we did a review and there was evidence. I'm also a researcher and worked as an epidemiologist, and there was some fairly good evidence that this works to reduce pain on its own. And I would like to say I strongly support that you pass this bill. Thank you very much for letting me speak.
Thank you, Dr. Silver. BPS, next caller, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Tanya Haggins, spelled T-A-N-Y-A-H-A-G-G-I-N-S, and I'm here today representing both naturopathic medicine and the bill that's before you, 153. Is it okay for me to begin my testimony?
Yes, please begin.
I met Patrick Nuzzo, Dr. Nuzzo, at a conference. We both have schools. I am a president of Lakewood University, and at that time, I was suffering from a sciatic nerve injury. And at that time, the only treatment that was recommended for me was a combination of 3 medications: Lyrica, Trileptal, and Percocet. And as you can imagine, being on opioids, it's very difficult to function and do your job accurately and completely, having medication with such severe pain. I was recommended to speak with Dr. Nuzzo, and I immediately set up treatments with him. Flew out to New Mexico. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. And at that time, I had no hope. I was wearing a brace. I was told that I would have to wear a metal brace on my leg the rest of my life in order for me to function because I had drop foot. After the treatments, not only, the first thing that I noticed is that I didn't need medication anymore because the pain had subsided. Not only that, my movement became much better, so much so, and I received a series of over a week's worth of treatments and for several hours of treatments. So after a few months, I noticed that I was able to regain my mobility. I no longer wear the brace. In fact, I've been able to compete in a bodybuilding competition and return to normal function as I was very fit and healthy before that.
Ms. Higgins, we will need you to wrap up your testimony. We appreciate you calling in support.
Yes. And I just want to say that I fully support both naturopathic medicine and this bill.
Thank you so much, Ms. Higgins. We appreciate you calling. BPS, next caller, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Vice Chair. My name is Sean Plake, representing Assembly Bill 153. I'm currently living in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm actually the massage therapist and naturopath that previous people have been talking about. So I went to the Southwest University School of Naturopathic Medicine in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Had a great experience there. The education was phenomenal. I learned a ton of great information that's helped my practice. I was a massage therapist beforehand in the state of New Mexico, and that just added next level to my to what I can provide to my patients. After 3 years of practicing naturopathy after graduating in 2018 in New Mexico, I moved out to Nevada, Las Vegas specifically. And in 2021, opened up practice here at one of the best mixed martial arts gyms in the world. They kind of wanted us to be their team staff to take care of their fighters. That way they weren't pulling out of fights. Professional UFC fighting is very hard on the body, so you can imagine the type of people they need to take care of them. And I've been able to do an amazing job. Virtually had probably one out of hundreds of fighters pull out of a fight due to injury, and that's because it was a very serious injury. So yeah, I'm able to help out a lot of people. These top athletes trust me. I see a lot of other professionals in the state of Nevada and Las Vegas, helping them out with massage therapy techniques. I would love to be able to do more for them with naturopathy, and I think it would be great for our state. We would have a great school with a lot of students that can also help out more people down the line. I think we could really pick it up. I have a ton of interest from the people that I talk to, other professionals I treat, whether they're massage therapists or someone in the field, even personal trainers would love to have something like this. They're looking for that next level, and they may not enjoy one of the other professions, but they know and see what I do and have done in both states, and really look up to me. And I'd love to help out to teach more people to be able to.
Mr. Flake, thank you so much for your testimony. We're going to need you to wrap up. And if you would do me a favor, would you spell your first and last name for the record?
Yes, no problem. First name, Sean, S-E-A-N. Last name, Plake, P-L-A-K-E.
Thank you for calling in support, Mr. Plake. We appreciate your time. BPS, next caller, please.
Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Okay, we will now move to those in opposition here in Carson City, and then we will go to the telephone line. If you're in opposition, please approach the table and begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Susan Fisher with McDonald Carano speaking today on behalf of the Nevada State Board of Osteopathic Medicine. We don't have any issue at all with the practice that's been described to you, but as discussed under the open meeting law, in an open meeting, the board did vote to oppose the bill because we don't think that it should be under the Board of Osteopathic Medicine. If it was under the massage board or something that seems more like the practice, that makes more sense to us. I would like to thank the bill sponsor for talking with us about it, and also appreciate the great team at Carrera, Nevada, for having open conversations with us. Thank you.
Ms. Fisher, I do believe we have a question for the board. I'm going to go to Assemblywoman Bacchus.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, for this courtesy. I was just curious why the board wasn't comfortable with having the advisory board underneath them. Like a little more detail than just they voted against it.
Madam Chair, to you and through you to Ms. Bacchus, it's not just the advisory board, it's that our board would be licensing them. I would add, though, that if it does come under us, their initial license is waived because we do not charge for initial licenses. We waived those last year during the pandemic. But they just don't feel that it's a good fit for the osteopathic board, different types of medicine. Thank you.
Assemblywoman Backus is.
Thank you so much. I feel like that's all you can kind of offer, other than, unless there was any other information that you could elaborate, I guess, even having the licensing underneath it. It kind of sounds like it's the same reasoning.
Susan Fisher, for the record, that they just don't feel that it fits with the osteopathic medicine. It fits more under a massage therapy board.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Fisher.
Thank you, Vice. Is this working? Oh, there it goes. Thank you, Vice Chair and members of the committee. Elliot Mallon, for the record, on behalf of the Nevada Osteopathic Medical Association. We are currently also in opposition to the bill as written, specifically the portion placing this under the Osteopathic Medical Board. To answer that question a little bit, the Osteopathic Medical Board is one of the 2 medical licensing boards in the state. The other medical boards are not medical boards, they are healing arts boards. And so the way we understand and what we've done through the conversations, and we're very thankful for the conversations and open conversations we've had, is that this falls more in line with the healing arts. And we are also happy, we would be thrilled to have nephropathy here in Nevada. It sounds like there could be a good fit here. We just feel like it needs to go under one of the healing arts boards, such as the massage therapy board as well. And if you may, Madam Vice Chair, I would like to point out something to Assemblyman Yurk that he said earlier, is we also didn't know what nephropathy was at first. And I want to really thank the Carrera team for coming to us, having open conversations with the bill sponsor. We would love to have them here. It's just under the Osteopath Medical Board is our hesitation. So thank you for your time today. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition? BPS, can we please check the telephone line for anyone wishing to testify in opposition?
Chair, there are no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you, BPS. Is there anyone in Carson City wishing to testify in the neutral position? Please make your way down to the table. We will take testimony in Carson City and then go to the telephone line. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. Dan Musgrove with Strategies 360 here on behalf of the Chiropractic Physicians Board of Nevada. We want to very much thank the sponsor, those folks at Carrera Nevada who we worked with, and Dr. Nuzzo, who we had a couple conversations with very candidly to understand this healing art. And very candidly, our chiropractors were not familiar with it, although I know in our discussions, the genesis of it was back in the day when kind of the father of chiropractic, Dr. Palmer, worked with the woman's father, our grandfather, who was on the phone earlier. But anyway, our position is we are neutral at this point as long as the amendment is adopted, taking out chiropractic or making sure that those that work in this art aren't doing chiropractic manipulations. And our concern, you heard Dr. Nuzzo talk a lot of times about spinal manipulation, and that's what they do, and that's also what chiropractors do. And we're concerned that there might be some encroachment in practice scope, and certainly appreciate the fact that they want to be licensed, that they want to submit themselves for certification, and so at this point we are objectively neutral.
Thank you for your testimony.
Paul Klein, Tri-Strategies on behalf of the Nevada Association of Chiropractors. Echoing what Mr. Musgrove just testified, the chiropractors are neutral with just some considerable consideration about the impact on scope of practice. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in Carson City? Okay, seeing no one else, BPS, can we please check the telephone line?
Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
Thank you, BPS. Chair Marzola, would you like to give any closing remarks?
Very quickly, thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee members, for just listening to this bill today. This bill is truly about access to healthcare and economic development in our state. I know we talk about that a lot here, and we want to keep progressing in a positive manner. And so I definitely think that passing this legislation is one of the ways to go. Thank you again, Vice Chair.
Thank you. I will now close the hearing on Assembly Bill 153. Committee, we are going into a 1-minute recess.
The committee will come back to order. I will now open up for public comment. Please address your remarks to issues that fall within this jurisdiction. If you direct your remarks to issues over which this committee has no oversight, I will ask you to please redirect. Public comment is limited to 2 minutes per person. Please remember to state and spell your name for the record. If you are using your let me start over. It was a long presentation. Please state your name for the record, spell it, and state any affiliation. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to give public comment? I don't see anyone. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
Chair, there are no callers to provide public comment at this time.
Thank you so much. Is there any comments from the committee members? I don't see any. This concludes our meeting for today. Our next meeting will be Friday, March 24th at 1:30.